Доброго дня всім.
Good day, all. Dear participants, we are happy to greet you at our today's webinar as hotel business against domestic violence or combating domestic violence that is happening in the framework of the project Trampoline to Equality on support of the government of Sweden. And I hope that more participants will join us, but I don't want to hold waiting those who have joined already. That's why I think we should start. My name is Natalia Koszorska, and I am the UNFPA program analyst. And we're very happy that today's our invited expert with international expert is dear Canon Torre, RISE country leader, talent and culture manager at Core Group Turkey. So greetings to you, Canon. We are very happy that you managed to join us today. I remember your speech back in 2019 when we presented our research on gender equality and cases of domestic violence in the system of the corporate sector. And your speech was very inspiring for us, indeed, to implement that method in Ukraine. But before I give floor to you, I shall ask our participants to do a little survey. I would like to ask our technical support to bring it on the screen. So we would like to find out the level. So in the beginning of awareness to these questions. So please answer these questions as you feel it right now. So first question, if you were a witness of GBV, in the street, at the restaurant, would you inform about it to the service? And then the options, yes, no, I don't know. Second question, what would you do if you were a witness of GBV in the family? And the third question, do you think, can the corporate sector facilitate counteracting and combating GBV or domestic violence, in your opinion? So a few minutes for you to reply. And using this chance, I would like to tell you that we have interpretation into English. So you can choose the button, of the interpretation.
Технічна підтримка, підкажіть мені, будь ласка, чи вже є?
The technical support, please tell me if more of the half already replied. Okay, 48% have already voted. Okay, thank you. Let's wait for another few seconds. So the results are anonymous, so don't worry, we will not know who replies what.
Виведіть, будь ласка, на екран результати.
So let's see the results. So right now we see that the majority are ready to report about the GBV case if they see it in the street or in some public space. And as for domestic violence in the family, here we have our opinions differ, and between those who are ready to report to the corresponding authorities. Can you go a bit lower? And we have a good indicator, 94% on our participants believing that corporate sector can and is ready to facilitate and assist counteracting GBV and domestic violence. That's very relevant for our understanding, because indeed every fifth woman in Ukraine has suffered domestic violence or a certain kind of violence. And we're really building the system of intersectoral interaction of response to such cases. Dear Canon, I would like to give floor to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Natalia. And thank you all for your participation. It's great to be with you. I'd like to, I think Natalia had a brief information on me. So going instead of all the details on my personal information, I'd like to go over the presentation that I'd like to share with you today. And I really would like to hear your questions if you have in your mind. That would be really good to share your questions and thoughts and challenges that you might face during your workout in a GBV. Now I'm going to share my screen. Please do let me know if you don't see it. Here I go. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you. So as a start, I must say that in RISE, in Accor Group, we have been working in so many opportunities. We are working in so many, I'm sorry, it's not working. Yes, here we go. We are working on inclusive and diversity topics regarding RISE in our group, in Accor Group worldwide. It is more than 100 countries, and we are almost 300,000 talents. And with our hotels, and not only with our talents, but our aim is to contribute our guests and our suppliers as well. So what is our aim? What is our manifesto in RISE? Just briefly. Of course, we are led by our executive committee members, Maud Bailey and also Gilles Clavier. Leading of them, our main aim is to work together. That will be being better and getting better. And in RISE, you may see there are two I's there. In normal written in English, it's only one I, but we have two I's. That is representing two genders, men and women, working together, being together, getting better together is the best. And it is the easiest way to have a real success in our workplace, in our professional life, and also in our personal life, in which we are working on to have more inclusive and diverse workplace for all our talents. Diversity is a key driver to have our real collective performance in RISE. And we always say we are always together at Accor, and we all rise together. So what are the key strategies, the promises that we are working on? The men and women working together have equality and equity in between to contribute more inclusive and diverse workplace. The main three aims are to strive against all kind of discrimination based on gender that we have so much, of course, the sexual orientation, gender identity, the language, ethics, ethnic background, class, faith, whatever you may think, and also to be against all kind of violence, not only to human beings, but also to animals, our pets as well. Of course, we are not alone. We are together with our talents, with our teams, and as I said before, with our guests and our partners in this strategy promises. So if we come to the why, the main aim of our topic on violence, the actions on violence, why we have chosen violence in our country, in Turkey. There are also so many topics that we might choose, but we have chosen violence because the numbers that I'm going to show you in a couple of seconds are the real numbers, that the reported numbers, but our government, based on yearly basis, all the women and men killed by violence, whether in family or within the family, or by a partner or by ex-partner. So if we go by the years coming today, the numbers, when we have a look at them before we start our actions in our country, we have seen that these numbers are really increasing year by year, unfortunately. And I have to say it again, these are the numbers which are officially reported. And unfortunately, we assume, and at some point we are sure that are some numbers, huge numbers, that are not officially reported as violence deaths. That's why we decided to work on violence in our country. The numbers are not so nice to talk on, yes, but as a corporate companies, we are very much aware that we have so many things we can do. That's why we wanted to work on it. So these are the numbers. I'm going to come to 2021 as well, and also the comparison of 2019 and 2020 in pandemic period. But before that, we have a poll for you, that to show you, to ask you if you are aware of the numbers in Ukraine in violence, that's official ones. If we may run the poll. Thank you, Natalia. And here we go. Please do vote. This is the number of 1 year. The results are coming in few seconds. So here we go. Yeah, as you may see, 600 has the most votes, and 600 deaths are the right one, unfortunately. What we can do? Yeah, we can do so many things. I will share that with you, but to have the real big picture, it is very important for us to see the numbers. So let me continue with the numbers on the difference between March 2019 and 2020. Only this is the comparison of 1 month. And I have to say that these are the numbers are taken from the Women's Association, as we don't have official numbers. Unfortunately, we don't have that from our ministry, but these are the call center numbers. And these are the comparison of 2 months of different years in pandemic period. And we see that we have an increase in most of the cases. In total calls, we have 70% increase. And on those calls, we have physical violence victim calls increase 80%. And from those, we have 30% increase urgent case. Urgent case means that the person who is calling the victim is wounded and needs immediate action help from doctor or from policemen as well. This is the urgent case. And shelter house request is increased as well, 78%. Sexual abuse, we didn't receive any sexual abuse in those months, and we could not support any legal support. We could not provide any, the emergency call center couldn't have legal support at those times because all the legal support offices were closed. So they were unable to support them. And psychological violence victim, unfortunately, again, to 93%. The two percentages here I'd like to take your attention is the physical violence and psychological violence, 80% and 93%. As you can see, psychological violence victims are much more than the physical ones, which is always the case in most of the times. And also, there is a percentage of 100% increase from neighbor calls, which means you witness a violence from your neighbor and you call the center to help them because the person who is affected is unable to call for help. This is increased for 100%. And when we move to 2020, the call center of the Women Association had received almost 10,000 calls they have received in a year. And most of them, half of them, I may say, it is in-house violence, unfortunately. And almost 400 case is the urgent one, and 282 is a call from neighborhood. As you also answered to the poll that you will immediately report it. And we have 152 calls from the attacker. That means that the attacker had an issue and need help, mostly from doctors, because the effect of the violence ended really in bad conditions and had nothing to do personally, just asking for help. And 131 cases is alcohol and drug addict case. It is mostly from families or partners of the addicted people. So when we see those numbers, we think about who is attacked, who is the GBV person. Let me show you that as well. It is violence to mostly women, unfortunately. It is more than 80%. The second one is the girl kid, violence affected person. Men on the third place, kids, and lastly, boy kids. And from here, you can easily see we also have men who are GBV affected people, but mostly more than 80% are women, unfortunately. And violence by who? They are, yes, GBV persons, people, but violence by who? And from these two charts, we can easily see the details who are the attackers are. And from this chart, you may easily see that the first place, unfortunately, goes to partner. And the second place goes to father of the violence affected person. Then it goes to family, then to mother, and all the other details. Ex-partners have a little amount, 2.8%, but what we need to focus is to family in here, especially the partner, father and mother, and also the brother. They are the most increased ones which attack to the person, to woman, as we have seen in the previous page, more than 80%. So when we come to the reason why they are attacking women, why they are beating them, why they are killing them, the reason of violence is mostly physical. They are beating, they are killing. The second one is psychological, which is most common, then social, sexual, and economic. Let me have brief explanations on these. Physical, we all know. Physical, when you beat or when you kill. Psychological is there is no physical touch in the body or anywhere in the body, but psychological is verbally violence. Social is making the person alone, mostly in the house, do not letting her out anywhere, do not letting her or him seeing anyone from the family, from the relatives, and also from their friends as well. Socially making the person alone. And sexual violence, as we all know, raping someone is sexual violence. And economically, there are two different kinds of economic violence. One of them is you are the attacker letting person work in a place, in a business, but taking away all the salary that he or she gains away and do not letting him or her spend the money that she earned. The second one is do not letting the person, him or her, working anywhere, only staying in the house, which is always, not always, but in most cases connected with social violence, making that person alone in his or her life. So when we come up with these all reasons to whom to GVP is, who is the attacker is, we started to think about what we can do as Akkor Group Turkey within RISE strategies. And for our actions, we have, we have started a project which took about 6 years as a pilot project in our 2 hotels, having job trainings and job opportunities for women and men who leave the shelter houses and ready to take control of their own lives. What we have done for these 6 years, and we have been working on this is not a project anymore. We have been working, this is an implementation in our hotels right now for almost 10 years. We are in the 8th year right now, including pandemic period as well. What we have done, how did we started this? Actually, we have started with an opinion by our one of our GMs, GM of General Manager of Ibis Izmir, Mr. Murat Akın, and I'm sure he is here as well listening to us. And he had an opinion while he was searching on he for she actions. He came up with an opinion if we may hire women and men who are affected from violence, who are ready to leave shelter houses in our hotels. And together with him, there were how many people at those times? 8 years ago, I think only 5 or 6 people were aware of this. We didn't talk about it. We kept it in secret. And we wanted to see if we are able to do it, if we are able to succeed, because we are in hotelier business, we are hospitality business. And we are, as you all know, open to public. Everybody is very free to reach our hotels. We are open to everybody, every kind of person around the world. We kept it secret for 6 years and tested ourselves if we will be able to do it, if we will succeed or not. We also talked about the security reasons, because security is one of the main issues in our hotels that we are providing our guests and our talents as well. So what we do, we connected to shelter houses with our own personal connections. Had no support from anyone, but only our personal support. And we succeed to have job trainings and job opportunities to 6 GBV person in 6 years as a pilot. And by that time, we had signed women empowerment principles. Women empowerment principles are the set of principles to encourage women's empowerment in professional and also in social life. With that, we settled a committee and run our actions on shelter houses and try to reach more people. Thanks to the Federations of Women's Association, we have a very good connection that made our connecting to shelter houses easier than we thought. And we had the opportunity to reach them, reach more numbers who are ready to run their personal life, their professional life, and ready to move their own houses, own flats together, some of them together with their children, some of them alone. And at the same time, while doing this, we had trained ourselves on violence, to talk on violence, to teach on violence and gender equality. We did this with the support of Sabancı University, with the project of Business Against Domestic Violence. And we had 4 professional domestic violence trainers in our committee, which made our strength go further and much stronger. And on the other hand, for job trainings and job opportunities, the main aim, as I told a couple of minutes ago, the main aim to keep it in secret. It is because to have the security of talents, guests, and also the GBV person. There are a couple of points that needs to be taken into consideration, not to have any challenges on this implementation. First one is to keep this information within only three people in the hotel. And those three people are the GM, one of them is the GM, the TNC person, meaning the HR person, and the person himself. No other person should be aware that the person is a GBV. Believe me, even me, I'm leading this committee with my very talented colleagues. I don't know those people as well. This is the main issue that needs to be taken into consideration regarding security. Security for all. Because you never know what the attacker will do, can do. As you have seen from the numbers in the beginning, from Turkey and also from Ukraine, we have so many cases. And this is something that we should be aware, and we should be really taking security in the first place in our actions. If it is not secure, no job opportunities or no job trainings. Sorry for this. Security for all. This is the main challenge. And until now, for 8 years, we did not have any security issues because the implementation is so strong. The people are trained, know what to do, how to do, what to do, when to do. This is very important. And the main thing is why we are doing this. What is our aim? Why are we doing this? We don't have any aim to prevent violence. This is the aim and the job of our government. Our aim, main aim as a corporate group, is to help, to assist GBP person and make sure that person is ready for her or his life, to have the encouragement back in his or her life. And the second one, again related with security, making sure the GBV person has no connection with his or her past, her family, her old friends, and also ex-partner, ex-fiancé, whatever, who the attacker is. Because in some cases, when the GBP person gain back the encouragement of him or herself, they sometimes think that they can go over or they can talk with that person or they can get along with that person again. But this is not the case. We have to make sure that they are not going to call anyone from past. Because if they call, that person or the family or the father, mother, partner will come and attack that person again. It will be for sure. So how are we making sure that person is not going to call anyone? This is the challenge. What we are doing is we are making a real conversation on job hiring process, but also not only in job hiring process, but also we are having psychological checks if the person is ready to work, if the person is ready for social life, if the person is aware of him or herself's situation, what can be, what cannot be. This is another challenge. when you have this, when you say, yes, this person is ready for his or her life, then we start to talk about the job opportunities, talk about the responsibilities that that person take, the working hours, the salary, and etc. All the details that we need to give regarding the law. But making sure that the person, the GBV person, is ready psychologically is the most important part after security. Because that person, if she is not ready, then there will be no security for anyone. And of course, within all those years, after 6 years in pilot, we had learned all of these one by one, testing it, doing it, failing it. But we, as I said before, we did not have any security issue. This is very proud of us. This is because the most important thing to talk about. After 6 years, we said ourselves, yes, we are ready to go further, ready to go stronger. And we were ready to share this in our group. And within our group, in the year of 2018, with our project, which lasted in 6 years, supporting 6 persons, had the first RISE Award worldwide in between the regions. This is a real proud for us. This is the first RISE Award provided, and our country, Turkey, is the winner. For after 6 years, after this RISE Award, what happened? We were walking slowly for 6 years, very slowly. But after this RISE Award, we started to run. And within 1 year, only in 1 year, 12 months, we had the opportunity to hire more than 50 GBV person in 12 months, 50. Of course, this is related with the support of our executive committee, because we had a very special budget on violence, which was very exceptional and which is still very exceptional within the regions. We have the highest, the highest budget in the group. And this made us to move faster in our RISE actions. And what we have done, we have completed gender equality trainings in our hotels, all in our hotels, which is almost 60 hotels by then, and almost 4,000 talents. They are trained on gender equality within 1.5 years, which was a free service by our support office. And we will be continuing these trainings, adding much more violence topics as well as of next year after pandemic. And with those budgets, with the budget we had the opportunity to provide households to GBV people who are ready to leave shelter houses and are ready to live in their own flat or house. What we have done, we bought them all kitchen items or cutleries or pillows, anything that you may think that you will need in a house. And also what we are doing as of pandemic period, we started to support the Federation of Women's Associations emergency call center and their website as well. We are supporting them to enlarge the services in the website and also in the call center to reach more violence affected people. And in pandemic period, what we have done, as you may remember, we had the need for shelter is increased around 78% in pandemic period. And what we have done, we decided to being a shelter in 2 of our hotels in our country and provide rooms and services for free to violence affected people. And some of them were our own talents, unfortunately, within our group who were affected. And most of them were out from the shelter houses, from the communication of the Federation, the Association of Women's. And I have to say that as an example, one of the violence affected person, the GBV person, was a young lady who were in early 20s. And she was with her 1-week-old baby, escaped from her partner, really escaped because he was beating her death. And at night, I don't remember the time, but late at night, I received a call from the president of the federations of the association, and if we will be able to provide her a shelter. I said, yes, we are ready to go. And thanks to our GM in Istanbul, he opened one of his rooms in his hotel without questioning anything. And we had the opportunity to host her with her baby and provide her all the necessary needs, including clothing, including food, to her baby and to her as well. It was something about 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I don't really precisely remember the timing, but this is only one example. There are so many examples like that, but I can say that we saved her life, and we are saving lives like this. Because if we were not there providing her a room as a shelter, she would have stayed in the street. You can imagine what can happen to her or her baby. Or the worst, she might go back to her house, to her partner. And she might be dead right now. What we can do as corporate companies, we have so many things to do. Within our market, within our service that we provide, we have so many things to do. Just list it. I'm sure the audience that they are listening to us right now, I'm sure you will come up with something, one thing, just one thing, not 2, not 3, just one thing. Just think about it. But first, taking into consideration the security, then think about one thing. I'm sure you will find something, anything. This was the best thing, one of the best things that we have done in pandemic period. And I am proud to say, as a committee of RISE Turkey, we still continue this. If the shelter house is full, we are ready to being a shelter in our hotels. Of course, as a secret. And you may see that there is an Impact 2023 committee written there. Impact 2023 is a very strong committee. I'm not sure if Ukraine have this, but they are an organization worldwide. If you don't know where to start before doing what to do, of course, knowing why you want to do. If you don't know where to start, please look for the associations, the organizations, and you are so lucky you have United Nations team next to you. You have Natalia, you have Anastasia. Believe me, we didn't have anyone 8 years ago. We were alone. We had only our connections. We couldn't find anyone to tell us what to do, how to do. Please ask them, ask me, ask us. We are here to support you at all times, always, anytime, any subject, on anything. And what we are doing right now, we are consulting the universities on gender equality, violence lessons. In Özyeğin University, Özyeğin University is one of the strongest universities in Turkey. Now they are working on gender diversity and violence lessons in their school, in the university. And I am proud to say that we are consulting them how to do, what to do, but first, why to do, to reach out the new generation, coming generation. This is also what you can do, reach out to the people, the new generation as well. I said we had a special budget from our group. I don't have the authority to say it loud how much we spent, but I have to say that we are spending money, but this is not enough. We need much more, of course, to reach out more people, GBB person. And we have a pool for you, for our audience. We have a question on the budget and the spendings that we have. Maybe, Natalia, we may have the poll right now. What do you think? Here it comes. Unfortunately, I cannot read, but I know that it is asked how much spent. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. It's the economic cost of violence against women in Ukraine per year, and it should be in dollars. Там не вказано, на жаль,
unfortunately, it doesn't say in which currency. It's the millions of USD. Please vote.
Spending money on violence is never enough. You need much more. But the effect on economy is huge. I have to say that. And we are, as companies, see 52%, Natalia. $208 million, right? This is the effect, ladies and gentlemen. And as I was saying, we have a real responsibility to support GBV person, personally or as a company. What is your strength? On the view of your strength, you can drove your path. And one of the main points in these actions is to increase the awareness within the community, within the country, the city that you are living. Because this subject is not something that we can, or our community are flexible or comfortable to talk on. We have to support our actions with the organizations that we should coordinate, lead among the country by the support of your partners or by yourself. Webinars, panels, meetings, small, big, it doesn't matter. Reach out to 10 people, reach out to 50 people, reach out 500 people. The numbers are not important, but the important thing is to reach out people and show them that they can speak on violence, that they should feel comfortable in talking about violence. This is something criminal. People are killed, people are beaten, people are wounded, and we cannot talk. Yes, we can talk. And we cannot do anything. Yes, we have so many things to do. Yes, we can do. We did it. You can do it as well. And you have a very strong support. I will repeat this again and again and again. And there are so many things that you will not need any penny. Just supporting psychologically. You don't need any penny for this. You don't need to spend anything if you don't have money. Just you need to find out your why you want to do this. And you need to explain this why to your talents, to your committees, to your executive committees, from your heart, connected to your brain, surely. And when you spread this, we will be talking much more in comfort, much more in flexibility. And then we will find other solutions. We will find extra partners, friends together to go on that path. And what we are going to do, of course, it is not finished. As I said, we are going to have new partners and we will be stronger because we are in the year of 8. Now it's time to move forward in Akkor, Turkey. What we are going to do is we are going to have a great partnership with the Ministry of Family and Social Services with our project. Because this is not a project anymore. This is an implementation that goes on for 8 years perfectly, thanks to my committee, thanks to the GMs, and thanks to the committee of Turkey Hub team. Now it is time to move a real forward, a very big step, and showing that we have the strength to reach all the shelter houses countrywide, reach out schools, and not only in our market, but also in other markets, we have the strength to train all the talents with our trainers on gender equality and violence, that they will be able to hire them, the GBV person, and make it much more easier to have a support on the salary tax cost, especially on GVB person. This is something we are working on. We are going to have a meeting within a couple of weeks with the minister, lady minister, and I hope, I know, I believe that we will succeed and reach out more people that needs us. We are here. Come and join us. Thank you for listening. It is great to be with you, even though I could not see you, but only my dear Natalia. I hope you will have lots of questions to me, challenging questions, hard questions. I'm pleased to answer them all. And if it is possible for you, if you also wish to turn on your cameras so I can see your lovely faces and maybe hear you as well, I will stop sharing, Natalia, if it is okay. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to see you. Hey.
Так, дякуємо дуже за таку
Yes,
неймовірну...
thank you so much for this unbelievable presentation, for sharing this trip that you took for these 6 years, that you had to build up the system, and we wish you success and any kind of support that you need. And we hope that in cooperation with your ministry, you will manage to get even more projects and more achievements. So thank you so much. We do have several questions, but before I read them to you, I would like to mention on the statistics that you have showed on Turkey. As for the calls to this emergency call center, we can compare, and we have similar indicators in Ukraine. Really, there is an increase of calls to La Strada. It was 694 last year and more than 1,000 a month now. And if we take a look at the structure of these calls, is 35% on physical violence and 49% on the psychological violence. So indeed, we have something to work on in our country, and as the UNFPA, we are ready to support you in any possible way. We have already had a network or coalition created of companies who signed the declaration to support gender equality and zero tolerance to domestic violence. Right now, we have 35 companies who signed it, and we hold trainings, webinars, constantly offline events when there's a chance. And now we are finalizing an online course for the employees of the companies on domestic violence that can be useful apart from the guidebook that we have developed and which is available on our website. Really, I would like to mention that these calls to the call centers not some mythological women you don't see each day. These are your employees, because the survey that we have conducted in the corporate sector has proven that 1/3 of victims of domestic violence are women in your surrounding. So please mind it, because it can have an effect on someone's life if you decide to participate in these events, personally or on the level of your company. So going back to questions, we do have many questions in our chat, and they mostly concern whether women who participated in this pilot project, did they have children? And if you are saying that they had to limit the communication with the offender, so what about children? Did they get some additional services like of kindergarten or school education, medical support perhaps? Or did they continue to communicate with the father, who is the offender at the same time? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. It's a very good question. Some of them has, yes, some of them had children. When a violence affected person leaves the house, not leaves, escapes from the house or escapes from the partner of herself, she in most of the cases takes the children, the kids, together with her. And when I say escape, the word escape is in bold. That meaning that there is no connection, no communication with the partner, no support from the partner. In some cases, support of her own family continues, in some cases. But in most of the cases, the woman, the GBV person, the woman, escapes and leaves everything behind. When they go to shelter house, they are able to, in most cases, they are able to take the kids with them in a certain age, especially for the boy kids, because after an age, boy kids are not allowed in shelter houses, in women's shelter houses. And that makes the challenge for the GBV person, because woman doesn't want to leave her son with her partner. That's why she has to decide to leave her boy as well, together with her partner, or to continue to live in that house. This is a very strong and serious decision. That's why in most of the cases, the GBV woman cannot leave their partner, cannot leave their houses. This is one of the reasons. The second reason, they don't have any economic freedom because they don't have any education background, because they have never worked before, because they have never earned money before. They don't know the professional life. This is the second. And in the best case, when they come to the shelter house, there is a limit of living in shelter house, which is maximum a year, which is led by the government. After a year, the person needs to leave the shelter house and start to live her or his own life. We have only in Istanbul more than 20 shelter houses which are dedicated only to women. 2 shelter houses for men. They are surely secret. We don't know where they are located. And when they are living in shelter houses, they are supported by the government, by the shelter house management, physically, mentally, regarding their health, and also for the schools of the children. But after they leave the shelter house, they are their own. They are alone by themselves. And at that point, we are going in and asking if that person is ready to work and gain her money. Even the person has no education background. Even the person, maybe she doesn't know how to write or read. It doesn't matter. We are teaching them. We are sending them to schools that they are teaching. Just we are making sure the conditions that I already shared with you, the security and the psychologically readiness of the person. When they start to work, they have their own salary, they are earning money, and they can run their own personal and professional life.
Дякую дуже.
Thank you. And tell us, please, a few more questions. In case of the victim who addresses the hotel network and using your rooms as shelter, in this case, how can a woman find out about the service? Because it often happens that women don't even have documents, I mean, like ID. So what can the employee of the hotel do in this case, and also in case when women are with children?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. We have very good questions today, Natalia. Very nice. I really like that. In those cases, they reach us mostly by the association, the Federation of Women Association. They are reaching us through that. In some cases, the shelter house management that we have direct communication with them, they are calling us. They are fully booked, and they have no place to provide for that person. And if we are available to provide a room, these are the two ways that they are reaching us. Otherwise, the GBV person very rarely directly comes to us, because this is not something that we are marketing on. We will not be marketing on this anytime, anywhere. You're not able to see this. Only in these kind of platforms we are telling it. And we didn't have such a case. A GBV person called me or our committee directly until now. If we face it, we will proceed in other procedure. Again, we are not going to take that person in directly. It really needs to go by the shelter house or by the association, not directly to us. This is the answer to the first question. And for the second question, I will give you an example. In pandemic period, we had a case, a young lady, again, early 20s, escaped from the house with her underwear. Blood everywhere, naked, only underwear, nothing else. She was 22 years old, 2 years of marriage, no kids, not working, not educated, and she just ran out of the house. And she reached us. The association guided her to us. And in that case, what happens? The lawyer of the association takes that person to the police station, and in police station, the policeman provides that person an ID, a temporary ID, because she doesn't have anything. And with that ID, we are able to take her in to our hotel. And when we take her in to our hotel, as I said before, only 3 people are aware in the hotel: the GM, the TNC, and the person himself. No one else. I even don't know. Even if I guide as well, I don't know. I never see them. And 99% in all cases, GM is present in check-in process, like a regular guest check-in process. Of course, until the person comes to the hotel, they have clothes to wear because they are providing it by the lawyer of the association, and also in the police station, they do that as well. And a couple of needs. And if there are additional needs, our GMs are ready to provide anything, and they are free to buy anything needed, which we have a real budget on that. there is no money issue. I hope this will help.
Дякую, дуже корисно.
Thank you, very useful. And if there are additional questions, or please add them to the chat, or please turn on the camera and ask those questions yourselves, because we have no more questions in the chat. But it seems to me that there is this chance to communicate with a representative of this system that has already been in place and functioning effectively. So let's take benefit of this chance. I would like to clarify a question. I would like to clarify, maybe I just missed it. You told when you were answering the questions that boys after a certain age can't go to shelters. So what age did you speak about? And can you send them to the shelters for men at least, so that they didn't stay with the offender?
Thank you, Valeria. This is a very good question, which I didn't mention it. The age is 12, older than 12. If the boy kid is older than 12, they are not allowed in women's shelter houses. And unfortunately, they are not accepted in men's shelter houses alone, as they are not 18, because they are kids. We don't have kids shelter houses. That is the main reason why women are not able to leave their partners. That is the reason why we have so many deaths. One of the main. That is reason why that they cannot leave their son. And they have to leave that partner beaten up in their whole life, or socially violence, psychologically violence. This is something that we cannot do anything as a corporate company. This is something in the issue that our government should take into. That is the reason why.
So you don't plan, you said that you will meet the Ministry of Family in several weeks. So as far as I understand, it's not your responsibility, but perhaps you raise this, but you ought to raise this question in order to solve this problem on the systemic level, on the system level. Thank you so much for your answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you something. To reach out to our minister took us 3 years. For 3 years, we are doing our best to reach to minister. We did so many things. And first, 3 years ago, we were invited to the working group of Ministry on Violence. But in governmental issues, you all know, there are so many things that needs slow steps to be taken. And when I had the opportunity to meet the head of the consultant of the minister last year, you should have seen my project file. Around 33 questions that needs answer and support. 33. And the consultant told me, Jana, please, can we reduce this? I said, yes, of course we can. I can do it 15 to 20. You're so sweet. Can we do this a little bit less? Less? How come? How do you expect me to reduce this? I cannot do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That's why you only have seen 3 sentences. I had to prioritize, you know, first one, second one, the third one. There are so many things that we want to gain. But let me rephrase and remind you, in 6 years of pilot period, we only reached 6 people. But after 6 years, after tough, silent, patient 6 years, within 1 year, we had reached almost 50 people. 50. I am very much proud to say this. I am saying this right now because I am the RISE leader of the country. We have a great committee next to me, and we have very strong general managers who are committed and believe in us. And we have an executive committee believe in us as well. So, Valeria, as an answer to our question, my main aim in our meeting with our minister, within a couple of weeks, hopefully, if there will be no cancellation, because we had 2 cancellations until now because of pandemic period. My main aim is to convince our minister that we have the strength as Accor Group Turkey that we can do, we did, and we can do. I need her believe in us. If she believes, then I will start with those 3 items. Then I will open my red book and go to the other rest 30. I will do it. If I cannot do it, we have a strong committee that they can do it because they are committed as well. I'm sure. I trust them so much.
Дуже дякую за ваш розгорнутий.
Thank you so much for this reply. It's indeed a breakthrough in your efforts and in what you have managed to achieve after this pilot period.
Дякую.
Thank you.
В нас є ще одне питання.
We have one more question. Given that among participants we have representatives of hotel networks, there's a question on account of, you mentioned that you do not announce about the service, you know, on the market. You work and cooperate with the organizations who help the victims and they redirect them to you. But on the level of reporting for corporate social responsibility, do you anyhow specify this or mention this, and what impact did it have on the image of the company in general?
On sorry, I couldn't get the last
on the
sentence.
image of the company. What impact did it have on the image of the company?
I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we are. This is not a marketing topic, even though our marketing team time to time asking me if we are able to use this. We always say thank you. No, I'm sure it will have a very good impact. But as Accor Group, we have other very good impacts and strengths worldwide in 110 countries. Yes, this will be additional impact, positive one, but we don't need this because this is not something that we can use. And this is not something that we want to use because the life of people are much more important than the impact on the image of our company. This is very important. Yes, we might be losing some things or we might be gaining things, but this is not something in our path. We have almost 600 hotels. with great talents, we have enough good impact worldwide.
Так, дякуємо.
Yes, thank you. We have no doubt about it in the efficiency of your strategy. So the last question from my side, I liked your strategy, your approach to communication with the ministry. So I would like to ask you, what are the 3 tips, 3 pieces of advice to those companies who would like to start working in this direction? What would you advise them to pay their attention at, especially if they only start the internal communication in the team on setting this system to help women who suffered from domestic violence? Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia. The best way, we also had the same. We tested and we succeeded. 2 best way to take your talents in to inform them is to start with gender equality. What is gender equality? What is not gender equality? What is gender? What is gender equality rules? You know, community rules. Unbelievable, unbelievable. This is, I'm sure the great people who are listening to us right now, I'm sure they're going to see the change in their talents after those trainings. What we have done, we have visited all our hotels, explaining them one by one in our trainings, facilitate them. What is gender? What is gender equality? What is gender-based equality? What are the things we should do? What are the things we should not do? How we should talk, how we should act. And let me add something in here. When we say violence, mostly we talk on the violence on women. But please, there are also men who are affected by violence. And as a woman, I know, I'm aware, I witness. I also sometimes do to my husband. If he's here, he's listening. Psychological violence as well. Men gender is best in physical violence. Woman gender is best in psychological violence. Please remember this. And in the trainings on gender equality, always talk on violence affected people, not women, not girls, people, anyone, men or women, doesn't matter. Yes, we are talking about more on women because more women are killed, that's why. Physically, men gender is stronger than women, that's why. But please do remember this as well. And start from the first one, not directly by the violence, because when you speak on violence, people are afraid. Don't do this. Please do not. Step by step, small steps. First, what is gender? What is gender equality? What is gender-based equality? We have completed those trainings in our hotels, and our aim was to complete violence trainings, but then pandemic came and we couldn't, but we will, as of next year, we will do it. Again, to 4,000 talent, we are going to talk about violence because they are ready to talk. We just make the water hot, then we are ready to boil it right now. Start from that. And if you don't know where to go, I think from today, they all know Natalia to come to you, I'm sure. Or you can also come to me. I always say this, you can always ask me email me. I will write my email to chat box in a couple of minutes. You can reach out and ask anything, any support. We have piloted, we have succeeded. Now we are implementing it. This is our implementation. Find those associations and don't miss Natalia, of course. Where to start?
Дякую дуже. Тоді підсумовуючи,
Thank you so much. So summing up,
сенситизацію з гендерної рівності.
so is to start sensitization of gender equality, of what gender is, of what domestic violence is. Secondly, is to hold trainings for your employees on the question of violence when they are ready to this dialogue. And third thing is to set partnership with the expert organizations so that it was a quality work. Thank you so much. So, and in the chat, I will send you the link to our information campaign, where you can find a lot of good information and links to the hotline La Strada on the anonymous phone number. So thank you so much. For several months, the communication took several months given to these restrictions because of the pandemic, but I'm really happy and I'm thanking you that we did have this webinar. And dear Kanan Tora, thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise, for your experience that you were ready to share with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Anastasia, for this great organization and also background, the technical team, and also to our great audience. I really send my all love and strength to you. We are here always to support you, and we will be. Take good care of yourselves. Thank you.
Дякую всім. Для тих, хто ще не
Thank you to all of you. Those who haven't, who is still here, please go through the online survey to sum up the change of your attitude if it took place. So it will only take several seconds. So we'll be very grateful if you do it.
Пані Канен, ми залишаємося на зв'язку.
So dear Kanan, we'll keep in touch. If you have any additional questions, you can send them either to Anastasia or to me, and we will be able to comment on them additionally if there is a necessity. And please, if you're ready to sign the declaration, please let us know. We'll be happy to cooperate. If we have more than half of replies, then let's see it. So we see that there's a shift, and now more people are ready to seek help and respond to domestic violence cases, and 100% readiness of understanding that business has its role in this process as well. And that's a good result. I think it's amazing. So thank you so much and have a good day, all of you.
You all too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.